Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Career Services Toolkit webinar, Skills-Based Hiring, a Guide for Job Seekers. We're really excited to have you joining us today, and we'll be going through a lot of great information. First, we're going to talk about skills-based hiring and understanding it, what it is, what it means to you, what are the advantages. We're going to talk about how you can identify and showcase your skills in this type of recruiting environment. And then we'll go through a little bit of Q&A. So before we get started, do make sure that if you do have any questions, I put a note in the chat, but definitely make sure that you are writing any questions that you might have and that you want to have answered by our team available in the Q&A section of the webinar. All right, so in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's talk a little bit about what skills-based hiring is. Skills-based hiring, it really focuses on identifying specific competencies. So in the past, a lot of job descriptions, even today, you'll notice that there are requirements versus anything that are maybe a preference for the employer. And while those things still are important and hold true, the skills-based hiring format really focuses more on competencies versus degree or majors. And again, while those things are still important to a degree, it is really more a focus on skills. It focuses on whether or not you're a better fit for the role. And when we do that, when companies do that, they tend to see more job satisfaction. They tend to see a little bit more diversity. So a lot of companies are starting to move towards this trend with regards to skills-based hiring. So companies like Google and IBM, they've really been pioneers in adapting skills-based hiring practices. And really, this increases, again, that diversity and inclusion. It reduces hiring bias. It matches candidates more effectively to roles and adapts to an evolving job market. So really, that focus shift is beneficial to you as a candidate, and it provides you broader opportunities. It can allow you to apply for roles that match more of your skill set versus your educational background. And again, those things are going to continue to be important for a lot of employers, but the matches on skills is going to be more of the priority, and whether or not you are competent and qualified for the position based on your skills. It allows more fair evaluation, emphasizing skills over credentials. It reduces a bias related to a pedigree, and it really leads more to an inclusive hiring process. It highlights your strengths. It can showcase your skills and abilities a lot more, and your experiences, which may be more relevant to a job, especially related to transferable skills. It allows for more career growth, and it opens doors to new industries and roles. It allows people to work through more career changing and allows them to pivot their careers a little bit more based on your skill set. And it also increases that confidence, knowing that your skills can be validated and boost your confidence during an application and interview process. But how do we really get through the skills piece of it? How do you identify what works for you, what the job is looking for? How do you really pull that out? It's really about identifying your skills and your skills gaps. And there are a variety of ways of doing that. So you want to review job descriptions in first and foremost, and not just the one that you want to apply for, but multiple. Look at positions that you have an interest in, multiple job descriptions, because job descriptions can be a little bit different from organization to organization. Analyze them, analyze your desired roles. Note the required skills. What are the commonalities between these types of roles? Highlight the most common and make sure that you're looking to build those skill sets. Self-assessment. So listing your current skills and match them to the job requirements. And you can go a variety of ways of doing that. You can look for feedback related to your skill sets. You can look at previous employment and pull out those job descriptions and really assess what you've brought and learned over the years. In addition to utilizing online tools, you can use platforms like LinkedIn skills assessments. You can identify any gap analysis programs and utilize those. There's a lot of databases out there that allow you to identify what your skills and your competencies are in relation to your experience. You can pull all of that in and add it to your resume. But of course, always reviewing your current courses. So you're in your degree right now, especially if you're a current student here at Rasmussen, reviewing your courses and the learning outcomes for your courses and identify your skills attained through your studies. So you want to make sure that you're taking all of those into account, even though those are basic skills that you're very raw and learning and new to. It doesn't mean that it's not a skill that you can highlight until you gain experience in the industry. You can highlight them right out of the gate. It's an educational skill that you've learned, you've gained, you've mastered, and now you need to really refine in the job market. So identifying your skills, let's take a little bit deeper dive. What skills do we really want to look at? There are skills that employers look at related to hard skills. So these are your technical skills related to the field. Those are job specific. Whereas soft skills or transferable skills, those are a little bit more cross-functional. You can get them in a lot of varying industries and fields, and they can transfer well into other industries and fields. So when we're talking about hard skills, these are the teachable things. These are things that employers tend to be able to are and are willing to teach you, train you on. You learn through education as well. So certifications, proficiencies, technical skills. Whereas soft skills or transferable skills, these are the things that they want ingrained in their job seekers and really are not teachable from that perspective. There are things that you can continue to refine and build in your career, such as your communication skills, teamwork, leadership. But if you already have them, and they are definitely something that employers look for in the onset, they don't necessarily train you on per se. So communication, problem solving, teamwork, adaptability, a lot of those softer transferable skills. And depending on your program, especially here at Rasmussen, these are built into your programs as well. There are certain um, um, I'm sorry. There are certain, gosh, I'm blanking on a word today that's not uncommon, right? There are certain, um, oh my gosh. See, we all have brain freeze at a time. There are certain assignments or pieces in your coursework, that's the word I was looking for, that really help identify and continue to help you build on your soft skills. So it's not only the technical skills that you're learning throughout your time in your education, but your other skills as well, your soft skills. How to showcase your skills. Really, the skills are going to be the first at the forefront of all of your pieces when you are job searching. So you want to make sure that your resume and your cover letter, your skills section are top priority and that you're pulling that information out. You are highlighting both those soft and hard skills in the positions that you're applying to and that are relevant. You want to make sure that you have your dedicated resume and cover letter, that they are really defined to the positions that you're applying to. So this is going to be a document that you're changing over and over again. If you're interested in multiple fields and industries, then you might want to have more than one of these documents. Your cover letter should always be unique to the position. But if you have a resume for certain areas of the field of business, you have an interest in finance as well, you might want to have a resume that is more focused on the business side of an organization versus a resume that is more finance related. So you want to make sure that they're dedicated and you're pulling out skills that are relevant to the information and the position that you're applying to and the field that you're focusing on in that application. The more specific you can get and taking out all of the gray or the muddy stuff, that will add to your resume and it'll make it stand out more. You want to make sure that your experience section in your resume, that you're using bulleted and descriptive responsibilities and that you are quantifying your results. So, for instance, leading a team of 5 and developing a new software application, improving project management and technical skills. You want to make sure that you're incorporating again those keywords that you have experience in. You don't want to lie on your resume, but you do want to make sure that if there's something that you identify as missing and you have that skill, again, even if it's basic, that you're pulling it out and you're highlighting it in that application process in all of your documents, as well as in your online presence. So, writing that skills focused cover letter, you want to make sure in your introduction, you're starting with strong opening that mentions the job, you're highlighting specific skills in the body that match the requirements and providing examples of how you've successfully used those skills in past roles. So, in my previous role, I utilized my problem solving skills to streamline our workflow, resulting in 20% increase in efficiencies. So, you want to make sure that you're being very specific about how your skills and the skills that you've developed are relevant to them. How are you going to benefit them in the role? How are you going to be successful in that role? In portfolios and work samples, especially important in degrees like design, those more creative industries, marketing, you want to make sure that you do have a portfolio that speaks to the work and showcases your work. You want to make sure that you're utilizing digital things like LinkedIn and GitHub, things like that to make sure that your projects are up and front and center and available and accessible to employers so they can visually see what your skill sets are in relation to the role that you're applying to. With your online presence, you want to make sure that you really dig deep into this, especially in today's job market. You have to have an online footprint. Having no footprint is worse than having a basic footprint. You do want to pull out your online presence and make sure that it is relevant to the industry and field that you have an interest in particular, using things like LinkedIn and other professional networking sites. It increases your visibility and exposure to recruiters, even if you are not actively job searching. But in the networking aspect of a career, you want to make sure that you're staying relevant and staying in touch with other professionals and other people in your field. You want to be able to connect with other industry professionals to be able to continue to grow and feed into your skill. It also allows you that additional credibility and showcases endorsements. It allows people to endorse you for your skills. It allows you to allow people to write recommendations for you. So it's that additional enhancement and accessibility and visibility into you as a working professional. Some tips there with an online presence: make sure that you have a complete profile with a professional photo in your summary. You want to highlight key skills and endorsements and ask for those recommendations, previous college colleagues, instructors, people who have mentored you. You want to make sure that you're getting those pieces prior to job searching so employers can see them and evaluate you as a stand apart from other candidates that might have similar skills. So it helps you stand out and stand apart. When it comes to interviewing, when you go into interviews, you definitely want to make sure that your skills are the focus of the interview. What you've done, how you've benefited an organization, but overall, your skills and how they are of value and how they will help you succeed in the position. So your resume, your cover letter, your online presence, that is all designed to help you get your foot in the door for the interview. The interview is where you sell your skills and really sell how you will be a value in the role. By using a STAR method, you want to make sure that you're providing that clear, concise, compelling answers that demonstrate your skills and experiences effectively. So, some common skills based interview questions you'll see over and over again, regardless of the position, regardless of the industry. They'll ask you questions about problem solving. So, describe a time you resolved a major problem, and they may ask something more specific as a additional that identifier related to that field. Teamwork. Give an example you were successful in working as a team in a collaborative effort. Tell me about adaptability. Tell me about a time that you were able to adapt to a significant change. Leadership. Describing a time that you led a project and what was the result. Communication. Providing an example on handling difficult communications. Conflict resolution, similar. Um, some preparation tips when it comes to interviews. Again, the STAR method is going to be the biggest piece there. You want to make sure that you're talking about the situation, the context of the task or the challenge, your responsibility, the action and steps you took, and the outcome of your action. So, what were the results? So, for example, in my previous role, we faced a tight deadline. I was responsible for a timely project completion, organized daily meetings, delegated tasks, and used a new tool, and completed the project ahead of schedule, satisfying the client. Now, that would be an okay response, right? But the better response would be facing a tight deadline of 10 days. I was responsible for that timely completion within that 10-day time frame, organized daily meetings, tasks, and used a new tool related to software application development, and then completed the project ahead of schedule, satisfying the client and providing them a 20% increase in sales in their product. When you use the STAR method, it really does allow the employer to get a full look as to the scope of what you did and what you can do. And it allows them to also get an idea of your communication skills as well. So that's why practice is going to be really important. And utilizing tools such as our Hiration resource, it allows you to utilize either the question bank where you can see and access a variety of questions and practice answers, but also our interview preparation module, which allows you to actually record yourself, listen to yourself, get playback, and then real-time feedback and scoring and guidance with respect to how you might want to better your answers. So it helps you build that confidence. The more prepared you are walking into an interview, while you don't want to sound over rehearsed, you do want to have that idea of how you want to respond to these types of questions. So preparation is going to be very key when it comes to interviews. Overall, you want to make sure that your preparation, you understand the key skills required for the role, you identify those relevant examples, you rehearse and practice, like I mentioned, and you get constructive feedback as well. So you can always ask questions at the end of your interview. Come prepared to ask questions related to the role, related to how that role is monitored and how you receive feedback. You want to ask questions related to the organization and the culture, but overall, you do want to make sure that you're asking for feedback from the organization as well. You want to know what the timeline is for hiring. You want to know how they see you fitting within the role and how you would be evaluated within that role as well. Overall, when it comes to skills-based hiring, you do want to make sure that you are really involved in continuous learning and development. It is not a day and age in a job market today where you are going to be a one and done learner. You are going to have to continue to evolve as the trends change, as the industries change, as technology changes. It's moving so fast. You are going to have to continue to develop and enhance your skills as you go along. So it's key to maintaining that competitive edge. Relevance, it keeps your skills current, relevant, and rapidly changing job market. It enhances your employability and career advancement opportunities. It helps you stay ahead of industry trends and innovation, and allows you to maybe perhaps be a part of that innovation. It allows you for continuous learning resources. Platforms you want to take advantage of would be online courses, much like a degree in education. You can definitely look for skill enhancement in that way, but there are also workshops and seminars you can attend related to an industry or field, or even transferable skills. Webinars such as this one, you can participate webinars hosted by industry experts, stay informed about latest trends and fields. Professional associations are great for this as well. You can join professional associations that offer additional training, certifications. Continuing education units are important in certain fields, so you want to make sure that you're doing those. Books and journals, regularly reading industry related books, journals to deepen your knowledge. So there are a variety of ways to continue to enhance and define your skills. So always have that ingrained into what it is you're going to do. It's the next step in the next phase of your career, is making sure that you are continuing to stay on the cutting edge of what is going on in your field. Some of the key points that we talked about today, and we kind of we went through them pretty quickly. That primary focus on skills and competencies. That's what skills-based hiring is all about. It emphasizes your skills, your abilities, and what you know. Identifying your skills on a regular basis, so assessing them, updating your skills, staying relevant in the job market, looking for those skills gaps. Highlighting your skills is going to be important, making sure that that is the center stone of all of your job search when it comes to your documents, your online presence, your interview, making sure that those are front and center and the focus of your responses and your documents. And then again, lifelong learning, making sure that you are have that as part of the foundation of you as a professional, that you are going to be ever growing, ever changing, ever learning when it comes to what it is that you are going to be doing as a professional. And you never know, that leads to a lot of things with respect to a career. A career path is not just a ladder or a straight shot anymore. There are a lot of angles. It is more of a spider web and instead of a ladder nowadays. So making sure that you're keeping that in mind. It can take you in a variety of directions, a lot of times directions you didn't think were possible. So staying open to that as well. So now we'll open it up to questions in our Q&A. I'll take a peek here, see if there's anything in our Q&A. I'll allow you some time to do that. And as we're going, it looks like one question was, what if I don't have all the required skills that it takes to apply to a particular position that I'm interested in? So again, here, especially when it comes to career changers, it's not uncommon for people to be discouraged when they're looking at job descriptions. Being sure that you're looking at not only the preferences, but the requirements. There is a difference between the two. I would still encourage you to apply to a position if something is a preference versus a requirement. Requirements are a little bit more hard fast, but that's not the end of the world. If you can get to 65, 70% of a match when it comes to qualifications in a role, when you're looking at skills to skills, if you're looking at it apples to apples, I would say apply to the position because you never know what can happen. But what you want to do in these instances is you do want to make sure that you're highlighting your focus on transferable skills and those skills you've gained through your education. Talk about those things that can be applied to the job and transfer to the position, even if it's not industry related. Showcase your willingness to learn, so your ability to be a quick learner, develop new skills, adapt to new challenges, and how you've done that in the past. Making sure that you're taking advantage of these things early and often, so identifying skills gaps. We talked about that earlier today. When you're looking at a job description, use the tools in Hiration to help you along with this. I talked a little bit about Hiration when it comes to interviewing earlier, but we do have, with regards to your resumes, cover letters, there is a job match feature in that platform that allows you to copy and paste a job description into the platform, and it will do an apples to apples comparison with regards to your resume. It will help you identify where you might have some areas of opportunity and misses when it comes to what you have on your resume and what you do have in relation to that position. And it can help you identify those gaps. What do I need? Oh, I actually have this skill. I should add it to my resume. It helps close that skills gap a little bit more and helps my resume stand out a little bit more. But also, I want to make sure that I'm speaking to it not only here, but when I'm in an interview process or in my cover letter as well. So identifying the skills gaps and then looking at ways that you can close those skills gaps. So if you've identified a skill that you don't have and you haven't learned, what are those mediums? Again, there's a variety of ways you can do it. Webinars, online courses. There are little small online courses that you can take outside of even just a degree that you can take advantage of as well. So trying to identify those areas of opportunity in filling and closing those skills gaps. And the same thing, we had a question related to lacking formal experience. How do I demonstrate my skills? I would say, again, the earlier you identify these skills gaps and identify what employers are looking for in relation to job descriptions, and what it is that I'm coming out with regards to my experience. Transferable skills are a big deal. So don't knock them and don't discount them at all. Make sure that you are highlighting them in relation to your role. However, I would encourage you, if you have the ability, to make sure that you're looking at opportunities such as volunteer work, side projects, internships, making sure that you can add to your skills by taking advantage of these types of experience, and you can add them to your resume. It doesn't even have to be a paid experience in order for you to identify how you've gained a skill. You can still highlight it as a volunteer. You can still highlight your volunteer work as long as it is relevant and you can showcase that relevance to the particular role. Um, we talked a little bit, somebody asked about common skill assessments used in hiring. Um, I briefly touched on them, but there are practical tests, such as projects that people will, it'll ask you specific projects that you've done. So practical tests that they have you take in order to do those assessments, situational and judgment tests, behavioral tests. You can use job shadowing as a way to identify skills as well. So that was another way of skills assessment, and identifying skills and identifying information about an industry. If you take advantage of engaging in a job shadowing or a job or informational interview, even, you can learn more about an industry, learn more about an organization, and learn more about what it takes to be successful in those roles. So you can then take those steps to learn more. before you walk out the door with your degree. So you can add that to your experience and add that to your skills. This question might have been asked before we got to that final side, but in relation to continuous learning, continuing to develop skills. So again, online courses, certifications, platforms, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, there's a lot of them out there. Identify what's right for you as far as what you're willing to access. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. So depending on what your situation is, the resource might be different. So again, networking and mentorship, professional associations, again, some of that practical experience, so internship, volunteer work, all of those are areas of opportunity, webinars, a lot, professional conferences, a lot of ways in which you can continue to enhance and develop your skills. There was a question in the, excuse me, in the chat with regards to resumes. We have a resume resource. I talked a little bit about it. Hiration. Hiration is our AI-based resume and interview platform where you can go in, you can either upload a resume or you can start a resume from scratch if you're not sure what you want to have on a resume and you want to start over. We have sample resumes related to all of our programs where you can start with that, build a foundation and enhance it with relation to your experience, adding your information as well. But within that platform, it allows real-time scoring, real-time tips, real-time guidance. That allows us to have access, it allows you rather to have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get that resume feedback. I'm not sure, Rose, with regards to a question, how can I purchase a skills-based webinar? Um, I'm not sure what that's in relation to. There are webinars that are free, depending on, such as the ones we provide here at Rasmussen. But if you look to professional associations, professional organizations, you can, there are some that are, you have to pay for them. Um, it really depends on the field. It varies from industry to industry, depending on what it is you're looking to learn. The answer could be different in relation to that question. See if I got any more questions in the Q&A versus there were some questions where, with regards to where hiration can be found. So, hiration can be found through the student portal. If you access career services or access the student portal, then resources and career services, you will find all of our resources on our career resources page. It has information related to hiration where you can use the resume piece that I talked about, as well as the interview piece. And you have a variety of other resources in there as well in relation to our YouTube channel, in relation to our job board handshake, other resources that we've developed in relation to job searching, our upcoming events. So our career resources page, and I'll put that up on our screen as well. But again, the easy way to access it will be in the student portal under resources and career services. I think those were the majority of the questions we had today. So again, we appreciate your time in attending our session today. If you have any other questions in relation to your career, I would definitely encourage you to check out our career resources guide in particular. I just talked about that. The easy way, again, is to access it through the student portal under resources and career services. You should follow Career Services on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook social page where you can find information on a variety of topics related to your career. And then we also have our YouTube channel, also accessible on the guides page, but on here as well for a direct link, you can access all of our archived webinars, a variety of videos, and other resources that we've developed as well. So a lot of great content for you out there with regards to any other career related questions you might have. Again, we appreciate your time here today. We love having all of our job seekers in attendance, whether you attend Rasmussen or not. Definitely take a look at future events on our career resources page. We hope to see you at a future event. Have a great day.